So, funny story. Uh, the previous stream was so long I had to split up into two pieces, which is why I had like some weird moments, a weird cut like right there. Um, but on the bright side, I actually did manage to get it like fully up and on my YouTube channel. So, at the time of me recording this, at the time of me recording this, both episode 9 and 10 are up onto the channel, with me pushing episode 10 live later on. But all that said and done, uh, I actually got several things done, and hopefully I don't have to do this again on a different character, like, or at least struggle to get it. But while I was leveling up Fisher, which is now at level 48, because I decided to do a bunch of stuff in it, I ended up getting this, which is a mount. Just because I managed to get... There we go. Just because I managed to get everything in relation to it done. So hopefully I don't have to like struggle to get it again. But yeah, it's a little shark guy. Unfortunately, I can't use it until a certain level, so I'm gonna have to just look at it for a bit. Also, my entire HUD is gonna change at some point. Probably after the stream, I'm gonna change it to what it is now, because I was messing around with some of the UI stuff, so that's why it's gonna probably change. Either way, this counter is for passengers heading to Gridania. Yes. Okay. Oh, right. This beginning part forces you to walk onto the ship manually, but no other time, and I just find that really funny. Oh, perfectly on time, the food I ordered is here apparently. They tricked me into spending 5 of buying something, buying a little bit more than I wanted, just because it wanted to pretend like I was saving money. I just ended up getting a burger with some like chicken nuggets and stuff from McDonald's, but like with delivery costs it's like $30. And that's never fun. So, welcome to Gridania. It's, if Ul'dah is set in a desert city, yeah, yikes, and Limsa is eternally on a coastline, this area is in a very foresty environment, which is kind of neat. I kind of like the way that it looks. Oh, Serpent Honor Guard. Huh. Oh, it's because I'm still loaded into the same area, so if I ever get back over there... That's why I was confused. Okay. Greetings, good ma'am. Are you the Ul'dah envoy, are you not? I have received instructions to assist you. Pray make your way to the city proper and identify yourself to the Conjurer at Nafika's altar. She will admit you to the Lotus Stand where the Elder Seedseer awaits. Okay. Yeah, like... This is a very, like, fantasy environment, you know, so clearly the forested area is going to have a lot of, like... It is going to feel like one of those elven forests. And, to be completely honest with you, I kind of like the way that Gridania looks. At least, like, it looks very cozy. But maybe it's because, like, both of the starting areas in the other MMOs I played we're also in forest environments for your starting quest line. So maybe that's it, but like... Can I get just a tune here so I can get back here? $29. Right, okay. So I have to be Fisher to do this. Want to the grant passengers of the White Wolf Gate. I've been following your exploits with great interest. You have served Old Da well, but I believe that your greatest accomplishments are yet to come. With such lofty expectations, I would grant you passage beyond Gridania's own White Wolf Gate. Please take this pass and show it to... Okay, if I wasn't going to be able to pronounce Welsh names, having to pronounce a French name is even worse. French Montiu, the Gatekeeper. Gird yourself well for the battles to come, and I'm sure that news of your deeds will reach me before long. Okay. Much like the other areas, they have more... They have more aetherytes that I have to unlock for each of the stuff, but it shouldn't be, like, too hard. Yeah. I personally really hate fast food. Like, but the problem is that, like, there's no good place to get food around me where it is, besides... Like, I made myself an omelet for, like, the first time in, like... For the first time in months, just because we had eggs. For the first time in a while. Okay, now I'm back. That took a little bit longer than I thought. Only those who possess a gate pass may travel through the White Wolf Gate. It is for your own good. The fearsome beasts that lurk beyond would tear an unprepared adventurer limb from limb. A writ permission granting free passage. You have papers? Let's see now. Yeah, everything appears to be in order. Go in safety. In the future, should you pass, you only need to say the word. So, this is actually really interesting because I don't need any of these earrings. But they do kind of showcase the differences between the stats needed for each role. So if you're a tank, strength, vitality, and tenacity is needed. If you're DPS, strength, vitality, and skill speed are nice. And if you're a caster, vitality, mind, and piety are nice. If I remember correctly, mind is less useful for casters, but they're more useful for healers. But again, I don't need any of those earrings. The reason why is because... Oh wait. The reason why is that this earring right here is going to be used up until level 80. Not just because it has good stats, but because it also increases my experience gained from everything. So it's just like... It's inconceivable to try to use anything else effectively. Nice. Oh yeah, I got some, like, some spectral fish that I'm just kind of holding on to right now. Which, again, these are going to be a little bit different when I switch over, but, you know. The reason why I wanted to come up here is, one, so I can get this one up here, but so I could talk to this guy right over here. You've accomplished enough feats to keep the bard singing for a lifetime, lass. Such an achievement shouldn't go unrecognized. And to that end, I would like to give you this. Consider it a token of my highest esteem. Your accrued achievement points earns you an achievement certificate. Certificates may be exchanged for special rewards of your choice. So, the way that this works is that we currently have 5 currency. The reason why we have 5 currency is because if you look up here, we have over 120. Sorry, 150. So every 50 you get 1 certificate. Unfortunately, this has not been messed with since A Realm Reborn, so we don't really get anything new from this. Like, we get like some reward stuff that we can actually get. We actually could get all 4 of those. But the real thing that's interesting is that you have all of these gifts right here. You get stuff so you could get like the summer outfits, get like a bunch of minions that you can get. But you could also get mounts as well for 6. So all we have to do is just wait till we get like 20 more, and then we should be good on that. Dang it, I'm gonna have to take a short break again. I'll be right back. But like, I'm gonna run around and like try to grab everything before we come back. So, because of a recording error, I had to redo this, but that's okay because this is on the full character I was talking about with the new UI layout and all that type of stuff. It is not too much different, but it is enough for me to notice. Also, this is a little bit later, so I currently have Conjure up to 20. But yeah, I've been working on stuff off screen. But don't worry, we're gonna get right back to the old footage. I just needed to re-record this section because I forgot that my audio was off for this part. Here with the Uldan envoy. Begging your pardons, madam, but might I inspect the missive you bear? A letter addressed to Gridanian Elder Seedseer Kanasena. Verily, this is the seal of the Supreme Commander from the Immortal Flames. Please come with me.
So you are the Uldan envoy. On behalf of our fair nation, I bid you welcome. Please.
Real talk, I had to look up to make sure that this wasn't the VA for Tikal from Sonic Adventure.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Kan-E Senna, Elder Seedseer of Gridania, and leader of the Order of the Twin Adder, our nation's grand company. I understand you bear a message from the Flame General.
A remembrance service for the fallen of Cartano. Pray, tell me, adventurer, what do you know of the conflict with the Empire? Oh, it would seem my counterparts recounted the tale in some detail. That is well. A message from the Admiral. A wolf has been sniffing around her stables, you say. Well, I shall be pleased to provide her with such a counsel as I am able. But first, friend of my friend, I would tell you more of the Garlean threat. For the greater part of its history, Garlemald was not even among the most influential nations in Ilsabard, the northern continent. However, its innovations in the field of magic some 50 years past helped to raise it from the depths of obscurity. Emboldened by this technology, it set about subjugating its neighbors, swiftly absorbing each into its ever-expanding territory. When all of Ilsabard lay within its grasp, it turned its ravenous gaze upon Eorzea. Yet, Garlemald's transformation did not come about by virtue of magic alone. Its success owed much to the consummate leadership of its first reigning emperor. Solus Zos Galvis, the man who built an empire in his own lifetime, yet he has lived long, and after more than 80 winters, it is said that he grows frail and ever more prone to illness. If rumors are to be believed, the matter of secession has destabilized the imperial court. This would explain the Empire's relative inactivity in recent years, which has granted us much-needed time to rebuild. Yet we cannot allow ourselves to become complacent, for Garlemald still maintains a presence in Eorzea, in the form of the 14th Imperial Legion. Commanding this great host is Legatus Gaius van Belsar, a man whose ambitions are well known to us. So long as he breathes Eorzean air, none of us may sleep easy. The calamity wreaked such devastation upon the realm that it has been all that we could do to nurse our wounds. Never mind, we build our defenses. Simply put, we have not the strength to repel the Empire. To add to our woes, the beast tribes continue to summon their primals, whose every existence is the blame upon the land. Each nation is beset with its own primal problem. None has the resources to look beyond its own borders. The Admiral desires my counsel regarding a brazen wolf. She means to tell me that the Empire may soon resume its advance. Though the primals pose an undeniable threat to our survival, the threat posed by the Garleans is greater still. Clearly, each nation can no longer afford to think only of that which occurs within its own borders. A storm gathers upon the horizon. If we are to weather it, we must needs stand united once more. Our remembrance service may help to rekindle the spirit of unity which brought peoples of Eorzea together when last the Empire threatened our liberty. The Flame General was wise to make his proposal, and I wholeheartedly approve of it. The necessary provisions shall be made for a service here in Gridania. Your work here is done, my friend. I shall send my reply to the Flame General forthwith. Thank you for coming. May the 12 see you safely home. Can now make use of the airship routes connecting the three nations. Before you may board an airship, you may pay the requisite fare in Gil. Luckily, this time I had actually managed to stock up like 3k gil. Ugh. Oh, I don't think I went over it yet. I might, but I ended up buying, two things from the achievement vendor while I was over there. I should probably go check it up on again because I might have gotten like 2 or 3 more. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get all of the mount-based stuff from him, and basically the mount and minion-based stuff, and that's about it. Everything else is kind of second to that. We're not going to be interacting with these bardings for later, but I just want them out of my inventory so I could worry about other things. Also, as you can tell, I have been fishing. I have caught a lot of fish. All of these are like the spectral fish that you can get. I don't think Nimble Dancer can counts as a spectral fish, but like still has the same coloring. Maybe. I'll look it up because spectral fish are the ones that can cause a spectral stream, whatever it's called. The aura. So yeah, I'm gonna go sit down for a bit. I need to finish editing this video, so I'm gonna just leave y'all to it. And now you'll hear me as I, Oh wait, I should probably, grab this as well. I pray your meeting with the Elder Seedseer went well. My Lady Envoy, correct me if I'm mistaken, but did you not deliver a message to Admiral Blofuswin of Linsa Lamensa? While you were there, did you happen to meet Balderon, the proprietor of the Drowning Wench? Gregarious gentleman, always happy to help his fellow man. I am told that he has a task for a capable adventurer. I know not what the task entails, but if I dare say the Flame General's personal envoy would make a fine candidate. If you are interested in learning more, please seek with Balderon at his establishment. Okay, so now I'm gonna pick back up where when I start doing the Conjurer side quest. Yeah, so this next part is gonna be me doing the Conjurer side quest as I get ready to do the crafting stuff later. Yeah. So I decided to go on another tangent about the classes I was doing. So to basically sum up this like whole like block of space in the easiest way possible that I haven't already said already, my original idea was to play Archer to level 30, Marauder to level 50, and then just keep going from there as is the canon class. But if I were to do that, I would need to level a bunch of stuff in the background, which would then lead me to level everything in order. And so I just gave up on that idea and eventually just went with, we need to boil these things down. If I really wanted to play it in that way, like, I wouldn't have put so much emphasis on showing each storyline, which, honestly, I value the storyline aspect to these things more, like, valuing the storyline to than the consistency of which class or job the main character is playing at that moment. I will at least do a certain piece of content at level 30 with Archer, 50 with Marauder, and go on like that. I will at least try to do that. But for right now, I'm just focusing on these 3 classes because the second that I step into the main story, you're gonna see why. It's actually kind of funny because I actually probably, in retrospect, should have actually picked, like, a DPS class, but it means I would have had to gone to, like, level 30 with, like, with Arcanist just to get a healer, and that's not tenable. But I'll explain it. It's gonna come up in the next episode, so, but, like, near the end of it, so, yeah. Oh, I almost started playing from there, dang it. I honestly still think that out of all the classes in this game, I still like how White Mage plays. Like, it's rather simple, especially early, but I am still a fan of the way that it works, and I'm still a fan of the story. So let's just go ahead and do this then. Which we are down here inside of this dark cave. Very healer-esque. Well met, adventurer. You are come to Stillglade Fane, home of the Conjurers Guild. We conjurers harness the powers of earth, wind, and water that abound in nature, and hereby weave spells of healing and protection. Ever do we seek noble souls to initiate into our mysteries. Might you be such a soul? Come join our guild. Then allow me to provide you with an overview of what it is to be a conjurer. Conjury is the art of healing and purification. Its practitioners harness the power of nature that they may bring about change in the form of spells. Yep. That was my phone telling me that my food is here, even though I already have it. Cool. Primitive magic such as the ones wrought by individuals known as mages, meaning that those with the ability to manipulate ether has existed ever since the dawn of time. It is not until some 5 centuries ago that conjuring emerged from this shapeless agglomeration of spells and charms, an event which led to the founding of Gridania. In those dark days, the elementals would not suffer man's presence in the Twelveswood, forcing our forebears to make their homes beneath the earth in the great subterranean city of Gelmora. But their desire to settle in the Twelveswood continued to burn fiercely. Time and time again, they sought to curry the elementals' favor. Unlike men and other creatures bound in temples of flesh, the elementals are beings of pure ether. Recognizing this, the mages of Eld reasoned that their talent for etheric manipulation might also allow them to commune with these theretofore enigmatic entities. It took 5 long decades, but our forebears finally succeeded. Their reward? The elemental's permission to dwell in the Twilswood. So that was the nation of Gridania was born. Since that time, the elementals have taught us to live as one with nature, speaking to all Gridanians through the hearers, those mages who are able to commune with them. And for their intimacy with the elementals, the hearers would go on to attain greater mastery over the forces of nature. Thus they did conceive the art of conjuring. And that, my most attentive listener, is a brief history on conjuring. If you would have a mind to walk our path, I wholeheartedly recommend you join in our guild. It would be my pleasure to explain the initiation process to you. Pray seek with me again when you are ready. That is well. I shall introduce you to our guildmaster, Brother Isumiyan. Brother Isumiyan presides over the Conjurer's Guild, even as he serves the nation as a hearer. You'll find him in the meditation area within. Go to him and make known your desire to join the guild. There he is. Greetings, adventurer. I'm told that you wish to become a conjurer Stillglade Fane. I am Brother Isumiyan, master of this guild. Before you are formally accepted into our ranks, I would impart with you the principles of conjuring. Pray attend with me well? How was that? Yeah, attend me well. Conjuring is an arcane art that takes life and the living for its domains. Its primary purpose is the salving of the hurts and granting of protection. Adventurers such as yourself oft stand upon the front lines of battle. Owing to this, you are like to find yourselves in many situations wherein the capacity for healing would be advantageous. Mind you, there is more to conjure than that. By harnessing the power of earth, wind, and water, conjurers are also capable of weaving spells that wreak havoc. In terms of sheer destructive power, conjuring may pale in comparison to thaumaturgy, but its capacity to defend one against aggression more than compensates for its relative shortcoming. Just take a sip of... Yeah. I was talking for a while without, anything in my throat. Heck. In mastering healing and purification, not only will you be able to mend wounds and purge afflictions, you will also be able to breathe life back into the fallen. More than simply healers, yet not true dealers of destruction, conjurers realize their full potential when they employ their powers in the support of others. This, my dear adventurer, is what it means to be one of us. I thought that was a bit too much to grasp with a single hearing. But worry not, for the meaning of my words will become clear to you in due time. You will come to understand that Conjury is not the sole province of the Conjurer. Should you wish to walk our paths, I must needs you ask that you solemnly vow to embrace nature, to heed the will of the elementals and the Trollswood alike. Can you make this vow? Yeah, sure. I knew your answer ere your lips had parted, yet I am no less pleased to hear it. By the power vested in me, I hereby name you a member of the Conjurers Guild. If you would be so kind as to lend me your hunting log, I will add it to the names of such creatures that would pose a suitable challenge to a conjurer. And to mark this momentous occasion, I present to you this cane. Though it may be old and weathered, it will serve you well as you take your first steps upon the path of the conjurer. Take your cane, Blue, and present yourself to me once more. I will assign you your first task as conjurer in Stillglade Fane. Nice. So, I like how... Okay, to kind of explain what happened is that in original Final Fantasy XIV, you had a bunch of classes that had one-handed versions. So you had wands like this, which could be used by... You know, you had wands, which were used by both conjurers and thaumaturges in their one-handed slot. But they've upgraded in 2.0 that both of them now has a two-handed conjurer's arm, like this. Oh, there we go. Setting that to 16? There we go. Whether Isumiyan wishes to assign you your first task as a conjurer of Stillglade Fane. The part of conjurer becomes you, Blue. Without further ado, I shall assign you your first task as a conjurer of the Stillglade Fane. Just beyond the city gates, you'll encounter squirrels, ladybugs, and fungars. I would have you slay 3 of each. Lest you wonder how I could so coolly order you of taking life, know that things are not as they once were. As a consequence of the calamity, and I may add, though no fault of their own, these creatures have become a burden on the Trollswood, a burden it cannot well bear. As conjurers, your duty to carry out the will of the forest, and by employing your powers in doing so, you will come to learn something of your art. Go now, Blue, and perform your first task in the name of the elementals. So I kind of like how he says it kind of coldly, but what he means is that as a conjurer, we are basically tasked to kind of defend the forest on all fronts. The only problem is that this means getting rid of pests that would harm trees and infect waterways. We're not here to basically just massacre every single squirrel we find. Yeah, we're not here to massacre every single squirrel, but we are basically tasked with making sure that their population doesn't go out of control, you know? And just put cure right there. Okay, just a little bit more. should be all of those. Okay. Next is Fungars and Mightlings. Mightlings can be found in the northern part, so we're gonna have to wait. Oh man, I want to talk about it so bad, but we don't actually have anything to go off of yet. So I'm gonna have to wait until we get to that particular story beat. I think it's level 15, but I could be wrong. Okay, now we actually have our proper idea of what we're going to be doing. So, we have 3 abilities right now, which is Cure, which, as it sounds, whatever we're targeting will be cured. If we're targeting an enemy, we end up healing ourselves. We have Stone, which throws a rock at enemies, and Arrow, which is an instant cast ability that puts a damage over time on them. I personally wish that they stayed like this, but Stone and Arrow eventually become unaspected because they really don't like dealing with elemental stuff in the game anymore, and that's kind of sad, but it's understandable. Go. I don't exactly know how you're supposed to pronounce these. I've just always called them giant mosquitoes. So much like how Arcanist has a healing ability, we have one too. I think out of all of the 2.0 casters, Thaumaturge is the only one without a heal, I believe. Which, one, makes them kind of squishy because they can't, defend themselves too much. But also means that there isn't a, what's a good way to put it? Not only are they a little bit squishier because they can't really, heal themselves, they don't... their upside is that they start with a lot more offense. But, like I mentioned in episode 9, the 2 casting classes are definitely a lot more complicated to deal with because you have the resource management of Arcanist, and then you have the switching between fire and ice of Thaumaturge. So it makes them both kind of complicated. Again, these are the only 3 things we have right now. And as you can see, we're not going to really get too much. All we're going to be getting is, our AoE heal and a raise. And that's about it. Because all of the other things are going to just be increases to those. So for right now, that's all we have. And I'm going to be real with you, I'm fine with that. Because it means that I could focus on a few other things. Although, I kind of wish that I had remembered to eat some food beforehand, because then it means that we could have, could have been a little bit further up on levels at this point. Okay. I got as much food down as possible before we can continue. Megara has information that may interest wealthy adventurers. Correct me if I'm wrong, but are you not an adventurer? I've seen you running to and fro, face set in grim determination as adventurers are wont to do. Hence my presumption. If so, I have information that might interest you. Rumor has it that plots within the lavender beds are being auctioned off. What's more, bidders need not even to be Gridanian. Any old adventurer or wandering minstrel could, with sufficient funds, purchase land and build their own home. Considering how discerning the elementals tend to be about who can and cannot reside within the Trollswood, it's rather surprising, if not hard to believe. Ow. But if there are some truth to the rumors, well, who hasn't dreamed about owning their own forest cottage? Perhaps a small vegetable garden and a stable large enough for a chocobo or two. You know, you should should your travels take you to the mirror planks, where the ferry to the lavender beds is, perhaps you'll find a twin adder representative who will tell you more. I'd be shocked if they weren't involved in such a monumental change in policy. Okay. We're going to be running down there later on anyway, so we're going to do that when we get back down there, but I think I may have mentioned, but I think out of all the areas in this game that I might want to actually, like, have a house in, it would probably be the lavender beds, just because I kind of like this forest environment, you know? Gonna try to just run. Because I kind of don't want to get caught up in that. But yeah, as I was saying, it's kind of funny that to differentiate one-handed and the two-handed weapons from each other, conjurers have canes and Thaumaturge has a staff. And it's like, oh, okay. It's like, but they're still gonna look exactly the same. Yes. I'm like, ah, cool. Just a semantic thing, I see. Actually, I'm gonna put my drink not on the little squeaky table that I have my microphone on, now that I really think about it. Okay. Probably. Yeah. I will most definitely have that. Next time I'm running around and doing stuff, I'll probably have a special, like, special things for all of the, for specifically the two casters I have. But because it's really awkward that I'm just using the crafting stuff that's still on hand. That's okay, because it's better than running around naked, you know? I was trying to chew as fast as possible. Welcome back, Blue. The elementals have told me of your success. By placing yourself in the midst of nature and seeing it with a conjurer's eyes, you've taken the first step along the path of enlightenment, healing, protection, and destruction. Though your spells may vary in function, they all derive their power from the same source. Forces embody all of all creation. By gaining a true understanding of these, a conjurer may call upon them to manipulate his environment, thereby realizing the state of being that he desires. Ah yes, yours is a familiar look. The very picture of the very picture of confusion. Be not disheartened, for comprehension shall come in due time. For now you must learn to reach out to the forces embodied in each of us. Pray hearken to mine instruction. Breathe deep, and open your eyes to what cannot be seen. Feel the myriad life around you, and draw upon its boundless reservoir of energy. Take up your cane and use it to lend that energy form. Go forth, my young conjurer, and be one with the world. Return to me when you have learned to draw upon the forces around you, the selfsame ease that you draw upon those within. It's good to see you again, Blue. By the air of serenity that surrounds you, it is plain that you have learned to draw upon the energy of creation. I'm glad. It's wellspring of all of our power, yet the energy of creation is not one thing, but many. To call upon all without first knowing each conjurer at its most basic. As a part of continuing your education, it is my desire that you now learn about the element of earth. Make your way to the blessed bud in the North Shroud, and there partake of Hero Nolanel's wisdom. The depth of his affinity for the elementals of rock and soil is all but unique amongst conjurers, and he is a gifted instructor besides. You may be certain of receiving the most enlightening lesson on the subject of earth. So I just realized that I kind of need to explain something about Kane-senna and Isumiyan, and why they look the way that they do. So, you may have noticed that both of them have the unique aspect that they have horns coming out of their head. Funny enough, it's actually not a piece of like headwear that they're wearing. It's actually something they were born with. When they were born in the forest, they were basically told by birth, no, these people are conjurers, and they're going to have a special relationship with the earth around them. And they are a sub-race of here that are named Pajal. We don't really learn too much about them in 2.0 because the main storyline for them was in 1.0, and it kind of just got glossed over as time went on. Luckily, the storyline in Stormblood kind of brings it back and kind of explains what's going on. But Pajal are some of like the most interesting pieces of lore in Final Fantasy XIV, and it's kind of sad that we kind of gloss over it, you know? To kind of explain, being a Pajal basically slows down your aging. Kane-senna looks like she's 14, but in reality, she's like 112. And she has two quote-unquote siblings that are with her on her council that also are Pajal that are younger than her, and they each look about to be like 8 and 12, but they're like just as old as she is. And it's always really fascinating to kind of like look into, like, peek into the weird pieces of lore that they never really talk about in 14, especially when it comes to the main story. Which is, again, why I really like the story and why I'm doing all this, is because some of the coolest pieces of lore are hidden behind, are hidden past the actual, like, MSQ stuff. You seek Hero Nolanel? Then seek no more, for you have found him. What can I do for you, friend? Brother Isumiyan bids you learn of the element of earth. That as well. The power of earth is solid foundation which the conjurer stands. I could happily lecture you for days on its intricate variations and properties, but I rather suspect the busy life of adventure would not afford the time required for such extended discourse. Accordingly, I shall offer you an opportunity to experience the qualities of earth firsthand, in combat. Now, mark me well, Blue, and do exactly as I command. East of here, in the grounds of Treespeak Stables, there exists a patch of soil that bears the mark of corruption. Seek it out. When you have found the place, reach out to the focus of the earth's trauma, and attempt to commune with it, as all conjurers can. Resentful of your intuition, the talented the tainted beings that feast unseen upon the energies seeping from the wounded earth shall then appear. Using the powers of conjuring, strike it down and permit me to land a chance and permit the land a chance to heal. Eh. Much of the nature of Earth will be revealed to you during the struggle, Blue. I trust that you will return to me a wiser woman than she who now departs. Okay, so one of the more interesting things about the role of a conjurer is we canonically can now see certain elements. So if you remember during us running around earlier, you might remember that there were like darker patches in the ground that like had like this ominous like energy to it. Allegedly, we can't normally see those unless we have, you know, some sort of blessing like what we have. But it is canonical in the way that we are as a conjurer that we're allegedly able to just see this normally. So it's basically alluded to the fact that this is some corruption in the land that we only can see when we're like this. And now that we've interacted with it, we're able to see the whole thing. Which is this well of, like, negative energy. And now it's healed. Very cool. Oh yeah, I forget that this is where they farm Gissel greens. Huh. We're gonna talk about those later, but we're not really like at a point where we can like interact with chocobos just yet. Welcome back, Blue. The elementals whisper of your accomplishments. How did it feel to confront the embodiment of Earth? To endure its onslaught? Has the crushing power of this element shaken the very marrow of your bones? Corruption occurs when the land's wounds are prevented from healing. In vanquishing the tainted sprite, you permitted the Earth's energies to flow, unimpeded, and to nourish the land once more. Can you not sense the strength of the Earth returning? Already the land begins to heal. Thanks to your actions, the field will once again bear bountiful crops. When next you have reason to call upon your art, look back upon this task of which you have accomplished. Experience once more that the grinding weight of the Earth's fury, and revel in the memory of life flowing anew through the land you helped restore. With such thoughts, shall your understanding of nature continue to grow. I hope you're paying attention, Sophie. Oh, hello. See, this adventurer here? Blue came all the way from Stillglade Fane just to hear my lesson. You would do well to learn from her example. If you wish to welcome a conjurer worthy of the name, you must make an effort to study nature. Do you attend me, young lady? Why should I bother studying nature? I can conjure already. See? You have a rare gift for healing, Sophie, a wonderful gift. It is more than just being a conjurer, then. But I don't want to do more. I want to heal. I'm good at healing. You can't make me do those other things. Sometimes I wonder why I even try. Sophie joined the guild shortly before you came to us. As you yourself just experienced, she possesses a prodigious talent for healing. Indeed, despite her tender years, I know of few conjurers who are her equal in that field. Alas, nature, the very wellspring of her power, holds no interest for the child, and which she should by rights be learning about the land, she prefers instead to wander it, healing people on a whim. You, in contrast, have been a most attentive student. I have taught you all I know of the element of earth. You may report back to Brother Isumi and tell him as much. I kind of like the implications of the Conjurer's Guild. I kind of like how they basically just straight up tell you, like, the only reason why you can do your powers is because nature itself wants you to. I kind of like that. And as the actual storyline for Conjurer and then eventually White Mage goes on, it's really fascinating, the whole, like, everything about it. I just really like it. Ah, Blue, you've returned. Tell me, how did you fare under Nolanel's expert tutelage? Have you delved deep into the earth and felt its suffocating weight? Is life-sustaining vigor? Such experiences will serve you well. And you have aught else to report? A fledgling conjurer named Sophie cast healing magic upon you. How kind of her. I must confess to sharing Nolanel's frustration with the girl. As you yourself will witness, Sophie possesses a natural talent for the conjuring of mending and restoration. Alas, her gifts have blinded her to the need for study, and she outright refuses to learn about the natural world. She knows nothing of the elements of earth and wind, and is quite capable of conjuring even the tiniest pebble or the faintest breeze. I have tried upon numerous occasions to explain to her that conjurers who are ignorant of the source of their power poses a risk to themselves and others, but to no avail. She should continue to deny the debt she owes to nature and indulge in ever more reckless displays of power. There is every possibility that she will create a dangerous imbalance. Needless to say, I'm presently at a loss to know how such an eventuality might be prevented. A thought occurs to me, Blue. It may be that your encounter with Sophie was ordained by the elementals. Should you chance meet her again, I ask that you strive to impress upon her the importance of opening oneself to nature's voice, and perhaps she will listen to you. But we have discussed our wayward young friend's education enough. Let us speak instead of one of my more willing pupils, namely you. The progress you have made does you great credit, Blue. Though you are yet new to the art of conjuring, you are no stranger to nature's embrace. Considering all that you have learned, I hope that you understand the true significance of these words. Obviously, we're going to go with the custom coat so we can hold on to it. But yeah. So, you may have actually caught something that he said. Is that she has a really great gift for healing, but she can't manage earth or wind. Basically, what he is directly saying is that she has only the ability to conjure water, which is cure. And whenever I bring up the fact that cure is aligned with water, some people are a little bit confused at what I mean by that. But, like, parts of the Conjurer storyline actually directly talk about how water is where you get cure from. And I just find it really funny that there are several people that disagree with me on that. But it's, like, directly spelled out in that little piece of dialogue with him. The way that they kind of allude to how Conjuring is supposed to work is that effectively you need to balance out all three of the elements. So you're not just focused on one. And I kind of like that because it directly ties into how you're supposed to play the class as a whole. Because when you're casting, if you're just focusing on stone, you're not going to be you're not going to be healing effectively. If you're just curing, you're not going to be able to, you're not doing any damage and you're not going to be helping. If you're not casting wind on things, you're going to be doing damage slower. And it directly implies how you're supposed to be using the class. You put arrow on a bunch of things to so that it can take damage over time, use stone to damage enemies, and cure when someone gets way too low. Now, I'm pretty sure that I'm not looking like too, I'm not like overthinking it. Like, because I like how the story basically spells that out. But at the end of the day, I just like it. I like how the story spells it out, but it doesn't... But it doesn't imply that that it is only one way to do it. Like as... with her penchant for healing... I kind of want to talk about it, but we're not at the story beat yet, so I don't want to. And there we go. Oh, right. We can't actually equip the, Can equip that until level 10. Huh. Oh well. Okay, so we just completed the level 5 quest. So we need to find some way to actually get like a little bit more experience. And again, best way to do that is to just start going down this list. 2 in North Shroud, 1 in Central Shroud, 1 in East Shroud. So let's start with North then. So I don't think I've ever mentioned how I'm going to be doing side quests. Because I mentioned that I was going to be doing side quests, but I just haven't yet. And I think the best time to do them is when I'm actually picking up the other classes, you know? So like when I'm grabbing Pugilist in... when we're like a lot later down the road. Or when we're doing Lancer. I'm going to be doing all of those side quests in the general area with the classes that I've picked up from those areas. Because I feel like that's kind of the best way to do it. In case you're wondering what my overall strategy is for a quote-unquote rotation when it comes to white mage and conjurer stuff, there isn't really a rotation, and I think that that's one of the better things about it, is that all you have to do is focus on a target and say, I am doing damage to this. And then focus on a teammate going, I am healing this. And no matter what you're doing, you're always, like, being effective. It's why I said that Conjurer might actually be one of the best starting classes. Because of how simple it is. But not everyone likes to heal. Oh, hey, Repose. I gotta just set you over there. Afflicts target with sleep. Here we are up in Peace Garden. Microchew. Oh! I just wasn't able to see their symbol because their little plant tentacles were blocking it. Do I want... Yeah. I was thinking about it, and I actually don't want Cure to be right there. Because what I ended up doing was that on my when I switch over, I'm gonna have this button is actually mapped to the tilde button for quick access. So I'm gonna have one button on E, one button on tilde that is like for like super quick access. Maybe I might also put like this one as Q. But like I don't want Cure to be right there because in reality, Cure 1 is not as effective as Cure 2. As you can see, Cure 1 and Cure 2 do not replace each other. So I'm going to just leave that right there, and when I get to level 30 content, I'm going to switch Cure down and then switch Cure 2 back up if I go into a dungeon that's below 30. I honestly think that those two should be connected together, but they do this weird thing where if you go Cure 1, you will actually cause like a bonus into Cure 2 that will make Cure 2 an instant cast with like no cost to it. And I don't know why they do that, since most people are not going to use Cure 1 after you're done. But yeah. Here is Peace Garden, or, yeah, Histmill. Believe it or not, Histmill is going to be an important place that we come back to later. And it's all because of the forge that's up here. We're going to talk about that later, and we're going to explain all of the weirdness with us going through with the forge up there, but that's not until like we hit like level 50. And when we hit level 50, I will explain what we're going to be doing, and it's going to be very specific. I kind of want to say it now, so I'm forced to do it. What I might do is I might actually just take the quote-unquote cover classes. So like Warrior for A Realm Reborn and like Samurai for Stormblood. And I'm going to get their relic weapons only for those ones. So I can show off how to actually get all those stuff, but not actually like get all them on my characters, because I'm already getting all the relics on my actual character, and that's already too stressful for me to actually do. Green Tier and the Honey Yard. We could go down this way, but all the stuff over here is like, yeah, like level 25 and higher. So we might as well just head back up through the, through town. Oh, I don't think I explained the difference between, a cane and a wand. So, as you can kind of see, with the wands, it's only used in one hand, allowing us to use something in our offhand, which is a shield. After we hit about like level 50, they kind of get phased out because they're remnants from 1.0. So we start using two-handed weapons exclusively, except for with Gladiator and Paladin, which hold onto shields all the way to endgame. Honestly, I kind of wish that White Mage and Black Mage also got shields, but that's just me. So the difference between So conceptually, the difference between a one-handed wand and a two-handed cane, or a two-handed staff, is solely conceptually speed. The idea of it is that you have a shield and you cast faster, but you have less attack. When you have the two-handed staff, you your damage goes up effectively. Let's see if like does show this. Which one are the ones that... Okay, there it is. So we have a one-handed arm and a two-handed arm. As you can see, the one-handed arm at the same level, one-handed has less of a delay, but less auto attack. The two-handed arm has more auto attack, but also more delay. And also has a higher stat in intelligence. So as you can kind of see, you're going to be doing more damage with a staff than you will a... Oh right, it's a wand and a cane, and then a scepter and a staff. So confusing. But either way, like, that's what they kind of wanted to do. The reason for that is that when you are basically casting with a one-handed weapon, you're basically saying, I know that I'm probably going to get hit, so I'm going to avoid the attack and attack when I can. When you're using a staff, when you're using a two-handed weapon, you're saying, I'm not going to be moving around as much, so that's going to allow me to do bigger attacks. And this is for both, you know? I kind of wish that they still had that, because it means that White Mage and Black Mage will have more of a, presence when it comes to the different builds. But one of the things that I kind of found out after kind of looking into how the different builds manifested in 14 is that people don't like having... It's not the fact... Okay, so it's not the fact that people don't like having options. It's the fact that people don't like having variants. In which someone could, go into a high-end content with the wrong build, and people really don't like when that happens. So they basically just come to the conclusion of builds are less important as having like the right know-how of the class. So they basically removed the different types of builds and just wanted you to feel the class effectively. You know, I was listening to several things talking about the numbers in Final Fantasy XIV. They recently added a thing where the blue little marker, the blue marker on certain attacks means that it's a physical attack, and having the purple icon means that it's a magical attack. Having the green one means that it's pure, means that it's pure energy, meaning that it's not aligned either way. Which is kind of neat, but kind of weird. But this is at the same time that I know that they want to move away from elemental-based stuff. Because they used to have like a bunch of things of like, this will protect you specifically from blunt damage or fire damage. You know, it's like they wanted to remove that. I think I may have mentioned it before, but like before your whichever deity you picked to be under would change your resilience to certain elements. And they kind of removed that because it means that something that you can't change later on with your build will directly affect how you play the game. Like later on. And I think several people on the team didn't really like how that felt. Oh, I got a crit my heal. Very cool. Funny story about that. I was talking with someone about what I would actually need to be able to raid endgame content as a white mage. And they basically straight up told me that the only real thing that you need to worry about is getting those critical hits, because it doesn't matter if you're casting them faster, it only matters if the one thing that you're going to do is the most amount of healing you'll ever do. Where I just realized that I completely missed the thing that I was coming over here for when it came to, since I'm down here, I might as well do this now. Good evening to you, miss. What can I... Ah, you wish to know about the auctions. Well, very well, let me explain. There was a growing concern that our immigration policies have been a tad restrictive in the past. And so the Seedseer Council and the Order of the Twin Adder have, with the blessing of the elementals, decreed that the lavender beds be set aside for adventurers. Adventurers who possess the necessary funds and to purchase and maintain their estates, that is. Should you look upon the beds with your own eyes, though, I think you'll agree that it is well worth the price. Have a word with the skipper over yonder. She'll ferry you across. A recruit stationed at the pier will tell you more about the beds once you arrived. Yeah. Again, it is the exact same... It's the exact same thing from before. Is there... any... There we go. Like, I don't think I actually showed how much gil you need, but that is 3 million? That is 3 million for a small. I would be pressed to actually be able to find a large that is open. I was able to find one before, which was astounding that there was even one that was up for auction. Yeah, this medium is 20 million. Like, I, on my normal character, managed to collect overall 1 million at one point, and I'm like, wow, this is a lot of gil. I cannot imagine holding on to, like, what is it, like, I think it's like 60 million just to get into the lottery for a large. Like, that is absurd. So as you can see, this is the lavender beds. It's pretty quiet right now because it's night. Greetings, adventurer. Welcome to Lavender Beds. Oh, you come at the behest of a Gridanian woman. I've got to inform you that these plots are reserved for adventurers. Your friend will not be permitted to take part in the auctions. You, on the other hand, are more than welcome to participate. Yep. I'm gonna just teleport over there instead of walking all the way. Because I've actually just about hit my 2-hour limit, and I'm still not done with the storyline that I wanted to actually do. Good to see you again. Oh, only adventurers only? Is that so? Well, these are trying times, and more important ever for Gridania to attract capable individuals like yourselves. I'm sure that one day my dreams will come to fruition. One day I'll have my own cottage and stables filled with my beloved chocobos. You know, I should have actually written it down, because I had at one point in my notes of make sure I correct something I said earlier, and I never actually wrote down what I realized that I had misspoken on. Shame. Yeah, so as I said, the best way to kind of do your quote-unquote rotation is to focus on an enemy, do stone and then arrow, so that as you are coming off of doing stone, you cast arrow like right after that. Yeah, so like I was saying, I heard someone say that the numbers in this game aren't really that interesting. And then when I look at the way that like World of Warcraft does it, where it's just like everyone just starts attacking something and there's just a cloud of numbers around the thing, I'm like, yeah, I could see why someone would think that this one's a little bit better. Brother Isumi wishes you to learn about the element of wind. Greetings, Blue. Each time we meet, the part of Conjurer befits you better and better. In your previous lesson, you learned about the element of earth. It is my desire that you next become acquainted with wind. Travel to Full Flower Combe in the East Shroud and seek the teachings of Hearer Wolfview. Those scant few years have passed since her coming of age. Wolfview is a conjurer of consummate skill who is able to define the will of air elementals with uncommon clarity. I could recommend no better tutor for your lessons in the mysteries of wind. Weird tangent, but I just realized that the only race that I've never seen any of the 2. None of the 2.0 races I've actually seen. I've never actually seen a young Rogadin. Like, this might sound weird, but like the big, like, brutish orc-looking guys, I've never seen a young one of those. Like, you see a lot of like young Kier, and you see a lot of young Mikote, but and like one of the main characters you know is like a 14-year-old Elizin, but like you never actually get to see young Rogadin, which I just kind of realized. Passage of the Sweet Bloom Pier, thank you. And here we are in the East Shroud, like I mentioned. Okay. What do we have yet to get? Vultures, right. They're like right over here. You see, that's basically how you're supposed to do your class, is that you're casting stone, and whenever an enemy's attack pattern comes up, you throw out arrow to kind of like, one, either refresh the dot or put one onto them. So that, and because it's instant cast, it's not going to be affected by you moving. And it really does feel like that's how you're supposed to do this class. Like, all the way up until endgame. And all the stuff that you get is just stuff focused on doing more healing. Except for, like, 2 moves that are specifically attacking. Most of the abilities that you get all the way up until you hit level 90 are all focused around attacking. Sorry, are all focused around making sure that the party stays alive. You must be a blue. Brother Isumiyan sent word to expect you. It shall be my pleasure to instruct you in the patterns of gusts and gales. Now, how to proceed? Pray forgive my hesitation, but it was only recently that I attained the title of Hearer, and, well, you are my first student. Oh yes, I believe that I have a suitable task for you. To the east of Sweet Bloom Pier, there is a small spring giving rise to a pool. Go there and clear the air of the honeybee swarm, which lately took up residence in the area. You seem uncertain. Mayhap you wonder the connection between my request and the subject of your study. I sympathize, Blue, but trust me, inexperienced though I may seem, this deed will deepen your understanding of wind. Okay. I forgot that you could actually stand on top of those. Like, if you get at the right angle to actually get on top. I might actually switch around how it is. I might actually go like, this one is tilde, and then this one's Q, and this one's E. But I like having E over here so I can do my evasion techniques on E, since it's on my index finger. But I might actually just make this Q and then this tilde. And then have this one be my things that I want on standby in case of anything bad happening. Welcome back, Blue. I take it the bees are no more? Tell me, did you happen to notice that many of the Vilekin preferred flowers in the vicinity of the spring? I ask because there were none. Strange then, is it that the bees would choose to congregate there? What caused the apparent behavior? Still your mind and reach out with your senses. Can you feel it? The path of wind veers from its natural course, sweeping hapless creatures along its wake. Something is playing havoc with the air currents. Such a disturbance bespeaks corruption. Return to the spring near Sweet Bloom Pier and search for pockets of corrupted air. Should you find one, use your powers of conjuring to disperse it. Yeah. It was having me running back and forth. Huh, that's weird. This wasn't here before. Oh, this is an instance. A tainted wind sprite. Let's get the normal wind sprite out of there. You see, the normal, what we learned before was how to do combat. What we learned here is to manage multiple entities while you're in that combat. Sprite's presence is palatable. You should not face it alone. The healing to me. Channel your energies into offense. Oh, she also has a little stack on it as well. That's kind of cute. Well done. The wind no longer keens its frustrations. Must return to full flower. I must apologize for exposing you to such danger. The corruption was greater than I anticipated. It is through such trials that we flourish as conjurers. Now then, Blue, what did you learn as you struggled with the air's grasp? You will doubtless have noticed that wind does not strike with the instant crushing force of earth. Instead, it torments one's forms, dancing across every surface and leaving 1,000 tiny wounds in its wake. These are the agonies of erosion. Having experienced such pain, you are now intimately acquainted with the wind's capacity for patient destruction. No land is a stranger to its power, and when you stand under distant skies and feel the wind's familiar caress upon your skin, remember the lessons that you have learned here to this day. Suppose I should be grateful that this is the latest elemental disturbance manifested itself in such an opportune time. Only the gods know what I would have taught you if you had it not. That the growing frequency of such phenomena begins to concern me. While it is true that the calamity wrought much harm upon the Trollswood, I suspect some other forces at work here. I bid you remain wary, Blue. But enough of these ominous rumblings. I regret to say that your time with me is at an end. Return to Stillglade Fane and inform Brother Yasumi of your newfound mastery. Oh, and be sure to thank him for sending me such a willing first student. I might as well get this too since I'm in the area. I need a little bit more experience. Yeah, Trial of Wind is our level 10. So Trial of Water is going to be our final one at level 15. I was at a little bit of a risk of dying there, but not fully. Oh, by the way, I actually did some math about, like, I actually started looking some things up of what it would actually take to do a quote-unquote no-death run of Final Fantasy XIV, like doing it hardcore mode. And I think the thing that would kind of stop you is any time another human is involved. So you would either need to play something like Warrior, in which you are very not likely to die or be the healer on the team, to try to make sure that you are the reason why you are alive, you know? And I think if I were to ever do something like that, like, I probably would either pick Warrior or White Mage and just main that throughout the entire game. One of the ways you can kind of circumvent the difficulty of some instances is to just over-level. Because, like, as you probably saw there, like, the actual level that we were synced down to for that last quest, I think was like 16. And they do that on purpose, so you are very... that you can basically over-level, but not by a lot, and still... and you could still consider yourself, like, on par for the mission. I have about, like, 1 minute to defeat this last one, but it should be pretty good. I don't know why I say things like that. I should be... This is the problem with having verbal dyslexia, is that you, don't really say... You can't really figure out how you're even supposed to be trying to say things. You know, it's actually really interesting that this is one of the few pieces of, like, fantasy fiction in which goblins are not the bad guys. Like, you encounter goblins, yeah, but, like, goblins are, like, allies to, like, the main characters a lot more than they're the enemies. What level is this? 15? Yeah. Right, it's the beckon minigame. You always want to make it the highest level possible, just so that you can get the most experience out of it. I'm gonna move up and around, so we don't run into that giant gnat. Okay. Okay, Sylph, you're gonna stand right there. Don't worry, it's not too far away. Completely forgot which part of my screen had the emotes on it for a second. Even though I had been clicking on them for a bit. Come on, just a little bit further. There we go. Guided the stealth to safety. There we go. How do I get this? Yeah, I got this. The main reason why I've been, like... I think I may have mentioned it, but, like, the main reason why I feel compelled to unlock the leaves, because technically they're not really too important, but I did say that I was going to do every side quest, and those are considered side quests. And I'm not considering the leaves of given place name for the quest. I'm talking about, like, leaves themselves. Because those also count. Some people don't think that those count. They still have a check mark that appears after you do them the first time. I consider them as counting. I do kind of wish that we got an ability a lot sooner than we do in this game. You don't really get, like, Aqua Veil until very later. But, like, having an ability on your White Mage that reduces the damage taken on a given party member is very useful. And I wish that we get it so much sooner. The reason why I'm trying not to get too close to the melt is that it has a red icon next to its number. And as you can kind of see, the blue icons... I think I may have mentioned this, but, like, the blue icons mean that they're going to act passively towards you when you walk next to them. And the red ones are indicated of, if you get close, they will attack. So several of these level 50 enemies that are just in random areas for the, for what are known as hunts. So you could, like, go around and, like, attack high-level monsters when you're at the end game for each particular, like, section of the game. Some of those are passive, and some of those are aggressive, and will just run at you. And let's just say the ones that are passive are sometimes the worst ones to encounter. Y'all on YouTube have it easy. I'm probably gonna cut out, like, so much of this. You do not understand. Like, we're currently at, like, 2.5 hours, and I'm like, I still have, like, an hour left that I need to do. And there we go, now we're at level 15. We could have stopped when we got to level 14 right there, and then just continued, but I think it's actually fully getting to 15 was useful. There we go. Now it's a little bit better. Yeah. As you can see, where... Oh, you can't really see it that well. I would have... Yeah, I currently have green dye on these glasses, but you really can't see it. When I eventually get enough money to do it, I'm probably gonna invest in metallic dye for the glasses. But those are, like, I want to say 10,000 each, because of how many steps people have to do to get even one of them. And then people, like, upcharge them really high, so you getting your hands on one is not gonna happen. Okay, now that we're back in Gridania, we could actually finish up this quest line. Let me just pop that back in. Conjurer's Guild. Oh yeah, I don't think I mentioned this, but there's no aetheryte that leads to... If you'll actually look at this. There's no aetheryte that leads to the Grand Company area. The best way is a walk from the main aetheryte. And the best way to get to the Adventurers Guild is to actually teleport to the airship landing and then walking upstairs. Like, it's really awkward. It's why some people say that when it comes to going into your inn room, it is the best place for that is actually Gridania, because you could just walk upstairs and then go to it. But I still think the one that has the most utility for a single spot is Limsa, even if it's kind of annoying with some of the other locations. Welcome back, Blue. The elementals inform me that you have opened your ears to the voice of the wind. That is well. Having made allies of 2 elements, you are well on your way on the path of conjuring, though full comprehension of these forces will only come to you in the fullest of time. Be patient as you seek to embrace nature more fully. So will nature hold you more closely. They made you study wind? Why bother? You don't need the wind to heal things. What do those dreary lessons tell you? Conjuring is inextricably bound with nature, Sophie. That dreary lesson is one that you should have learned by now. I assume by your presence here that you have once again abandoned your tutors. You must understand, if you persist in casting spells without the proper knowledge, I have all the knowledge I need. My mother never needed to embrace nature to heal, and people she helped were thankful for her art. I will learn conjure the same way she did, and become just as great of a conjurer, you'll see. But I didn't come here to argue with you, Brother Yasumi. I wanted to tell you that I discovered how to cast rays. What are you thinking, girl? You know, not what you do. With the risk, you are meddling with forces beyond your comprehension. Should you even attempt to use that spell, I will have no recourse but to strip you of the name of a conjurer and banish you from our halls. Do I make myself clear? You must be so angry with me. It's not as if I were trying to hurt anyone. But, Sophie, my dear child, that is precisely the point. My apologies, Blue. I do hope you find these constant disruptions distracting. Oh, you do not. As you have just heard, Sophie's mother was also a conjurer. A conjurer who is unable to use any spells outside the sphere of healing. Needless to say, Sophie seeks to emulate her in every way. It's a rare and wondrous talent to heal without relying on the energies of nature. But such power is not born of true conjuring. By all that we know of the art, it should not be possible for Sophie to cast rays. I shudder to think what would happen if she tried. I fear my inability to set her upon the true path reflects my own failings as a teacher. I am only glad that those same failings have not hindered you. Oops. Oh, that was actually a really long text box that wasn't done. I believe that you'll become a fine conjurer. Already you are blessed with great power, and more shall be yours should you persevere with our art. As indeed I hope you shall. Yet, however much you grow, however powerful you become, remember that ours is a power borrowed, not taken. Okay. And then we get a two-handed conjurer's arm again, so we just keep switching back and forth with that. And none of these are really better than what we currently have. Because whatever they will give us for our quests, unless it is explicitly something that we will only get from the quest, we will not actually be able to, yeah. It is strictly not going to be better than a crafted item. Like, look at this. Like, our level 11 item that we have here, crafted, is so much better in every way to the staff. Even though the staff is supposed to be compensating for the things that we lost, the recommended gear has this weird thing where it believes that piety is better than determination. If you actually look at the stats, I think I may have mentioned this before, but like, affects MP regeneration. Regeneration rate is determined by piety. That's it. Tenacity affects the amount of physical and magic damage dealt and received, as well as HP restored. It's basically nothing. You get more out of pumping a lot into determination and critical hit than you ever do tenacity and piety. Like, this being an extra stat where you can get stuff from is really cool, but you are just better off increasing your determination and critical hit. So the fact that this is a level 11 item, which is automatically going to be better. But if this was a level 10 item with the same magic damage, it would actually put Piety above Determination, because it is a explicitly special stat only to Conjurers. So that's basically why it's doing that. While we're at it, we might as well... Oh, that's why I held on to it. Okay. I believe I've already made that one, though. Yeah, I'm gonna just leave that in there. Crafting method. Yep, already done. There. Okay. But the Isumi wants you to learn about the element of water. Yeah. Guess we'll go for the gloves, I guess. It's good to see you again, Blue. By the aura you exude, it is plain that you have grown further as a conjurer. Time has come to acquaint yourself with the third element of our art, water. For the first part of our lesson, you are here to take this flask of pristine water and pour it at the foot of the hedge tree found near Hawthorne Hut. The water's purity will draw forth the corrupting entity that is siphoning the tree's life force. Dispatch this being, and then speak with Brother Joaquin at the Hawthorne Hut. As you might expect, he is a conjurer with a fine ear for the murmurings of the brook and stream. Listen well to his advice, and you will learn to master the element of water. Okay, so you may have noticed something from something that they mentioned. Sylphie can now use rays, which again is a level 12 thing. We will have gotten rays almost immediately after she talked about it. But if we're doing this solo, there's no reason for us to use rays. But what it does is that it resurrects someone at half health with a... and if they're currently in the middle of combat, it will put a debuff onto them that reduces their damage by 25%. And if they already have... and it stacks twice up to 50%. So... oh, wait. I'll just teleport there. Wait. I just teleported to the wrong one. I was like, there's the one down there, right? Wait a second. Anyway, I could show this off. We could also... I actually don't know where the fireflies are. But I do know that the birds are just sitting over here. But yeah, as I've been trying to point out, the different elements are very clearly showcased with their with what background they are. And Cure, which I've associated with water, you know, has this like cyan color, but Rays and Isuna have this darker blue. And when you cast Isuna, it's got that, like, very... it's got a different shade than with Cure. And I think it's because when you cast Cure, you'll notice green, you'll notice a little bit of, like... it's a yellow-tinged green, and then, like, blue sparkles around you. And I think it's because Cure, as a whole, is a mixture of all three elements. So what I'm actually like what I'm trying to put forward here is that when they're talking about water, they're talking about Asuna and rays as the things that are based around water. Because, you know, water purifies. And rays is not really about bringing someone back from the dead. It's more about someone being, like, knocked unconscious, and the only thing left to do is to kind of, like, bring them back onto their feet. Kind of like giving them a second wind, almost. You know, because, like, you're not actually dead, you're just knocked out. Or, like, incredibly, like, exhausted and drained of energy. So what happens is, like, in your, like, last gasp, you go, okay, and you, like, and you teleport back to your home point when an enemy runs off thinking that they've killed you. Dang it, vultures, no, I'm not interacting with you again. And so it really does... And again, I think it's a semantic level where it's like, what is your water-based ability? And you could either say, well, it's cure because of how... of the entire storyline with Sylphie, or you could just say, because she was able to access rays, and her ability looked closer to Asuna in terms of design, that this is what she's going on. She's not actually curing people, she's cleansing them, effectively. She's got a multi-target Asuna that is... or she's got a multi-target Asuna that she's using. It's not really cure. She might still be able to use cure, but at a lesser amount, you know? A flask of water drawn from the banks of a pristine lake in the East Shroud. Tainted water sprite. Cool. Fjolmund. Wait. Huh. It's not actually the one I was thinking of, but he does give Dalamud die, so that's actually, pretty cool. Hey, Joaquin, what's up? Greetings, Blue. Brother Asumi informed of your coming. I assumed that it was you who purified the befouled water at the hedge tree. The joyous bubbling of the elementals was a pleasure to hear. On behalf of both of them and myself, I thank you. Now, without further ado, let us speak of which Brother Isumi sent you here to learn. I trust that you did not find it strange to be asked to tend to a tree when your lesson this day concerns the element of water. One does not need to have studied botany to realize that the forest requires more than rich soil to flourish. Water is essential for carrying the nutrients to the earth from the tree's roots all the way to its very tips of its leaves. This precious liquid is the lifeblood of the Twellswood. Without it, naught would grow. But should it rise in too great of a volume and too swiftly, the nourishing flow will become a crashing wave that washes away all before it. It is important to realize that all of nature is in balance, and Conjury derives its power from nature. We must take care not to use our art in a manner like to disrupt this state. Ever must we be mindful of the ceaseless tug and war embodied in creation, this fruitful stalemate of the elements. Brother Joaquin, what are you about? I'm here, sir. What has transpired? A herd of young antelope stags have gone berserk. Not sure what's gotten them so panicked, but there's no calming them now. The mad beasts gored the soldiers sent to shepherd them away from civilian settlements, leaving them a pile of wounded over at Jocelyn's Spire. And not enough hands to staunch the bleeding. We need a healer and fast. Curious, I sensed nothing amiss from the whisperings of the elementals. What could have frightened these antelopes so? Apologies. I shall revisit these musings anon. Let's make haste. If matters are as chaotic as you say, I fear the number of injured may be rising as we speak. I doubt that we too will suffice. We must divide our forces. Blue, travel straight away to Jocelyn's Spire and tend to the wounded. I shall endeavor to rally further healers. Follow after you bearing what restorative unguents I can. I have no idea what that word is supposed to mean. You, sir, head the still glade fane and beseech the aid of Brother Isumi. Where are they? Oh. Right, they set all the guys up here. Or at least they're in the process of carrying them up here. Ah, it still hurts. Who are a conjurer, you say? Praise Nafika. You've come not a moment too soon. Sounds like more wounded have been carried in. Pray offer them what aid you can. And now they have spawned in. Cool. Oh, I can breathe again. Thank you. Oh, wait. These folks are out of danger for the present, but I fear our reprieve shall be brief. The battle with the stags yet rages, and there are reports of more wounded. I bid you join the wood whalers and put an end to this. Seek them just off the road that leads to the northeast, and don't worry. My art should be sufficient to prevent matters from worsening here. Oh, other way. Great, I have to run past the gnats. Oh, Sophie's already here. Please leave. You too. Don't be rude. I'm trying to do something here. Come on, leave me alone. Yeah, so... Yeah, here they are. Stop! Why are you doing that? Oh, the conjurer from the guild. Well, tell Brother Isumi if you want. I don't care. I'm not gonna stand by and watch these people bleed to death. It's fine with me. Come and lend a hand, have you? Quickly, let's fight this way. Conjurer, your aid. Remember, as one incredibly intelligent and good-looking worm once said, the art of healing is mitigating future damage. Never forget that you have attacking moves. Oh, wait, I have Medica. Oh, Medica is not working. And of course a water sprite just has to appear right now. Don't worry, I got you, I got you. Sophie's still working on trying to heal that singular person. There you go, duty complete. I've yet to fail one of these, and I'm very glad about it. Miss, are you okay? I'm fine, don't mind me. Pray tell me that we are not too late. Sophie, what have you done? I forbade you from using such methods. Guildmaster, I will not see you repeat your mother's mistakes. My mother did nothing wrong. Well, never did anything wrong. Technically, there's a difference of that. Blue, may I ask you to follow her, please? I fear my presence will only serve to provoke her further. She could not have gone far in her awakened state. Yeah. I don't understand. When I try to cast spells, nothing happens. When I reach for my power, there's nothing there. Is this what the Guildmaster is trying to warn me about? He said it was repeating my mother's mistakes. Same thing that happened to her with losing her magic, I mean. Then she... Am I gonna die? This can't be happening. I didn't think... Please, I need to be alone. Well, time to head back to, Stoglade Fane. Right. Okay. So, they're going to explain it in a later thing of why what is happening, but it is actually really interesting that, and again, I have to reiterate, several people did not believe me when I said that water is the healing element. Or at least is the component that Conjurer is used. Like, the trial by water literally asks you to be the healer for the group. And again, honestly, like, one of the funniest things is that the reason why you can tell that everything is based around the trees and which elements we use is based off of a tree. You have the soil. You have the soil for the tree. You have the wind, which is represented by the leaves, and then you have the water that courses through it. And it is something sturdy, something flighty, something cleansing. And I don't know, I feel like it's kind of cool symbolism that the energies of the trees around you is your elements that you use. And I'm not going to go into it too hard because we're not actually going to encounter it for a while. But it is actually kind of interesting that if you really think about it, if water is really the cleansing thing that causes people to heal, it explains several things about... It explains several things about... certain entities that are actually ruled by water as a whole. And I just think it's really neat to kind of look into, like, lore elements for that. Blue, you've returned at last. Were you able to speak with Sylphie? I see. I once taught you that conjurers harness the power of nature, that we might bring out change. Earth, wind, water, and healing. Principle is no different. For the art of mending, we draw upon the boundless life force of nature and bestow it upon the wounded. Sophie had never sought to borrow from that bounty. Her power to heal stems from her own life force. The vital energies of mortals are, however, finite, and now that which I have feared has come to pass. Her mother unwittingly took her own life through the continued use of her healing skills, and Sophie's aptitude for the art is, if anything, even greater. Thus it is not unexpected that she should reach the limits of her strength at a much earlier age. If we do not intervene, this terrible tragedy will be repeated, and I for one could not bear to see the child suffer the same fate as her mother. I shall think on a solution to this dark dilemma. It shall be that I have need of your assistance in the new... It may be that I will need your assistance in the near future, Blue. Do not doubt your abilities. You are a conjurer who passed the trials of earth, wind, and water. You grow closer to nature with every passing day, and I sense within you the seeds of greatness. In your encounter with water, you learned its role as a bringer of life, but you also felt the implacable nature, the implacable power of a surging wave as it swept through you along its path. Like earth and wind and nature at large, the element of water is possessed of more than one aspect. Having completed the third lesson, I am satisfied that you have mastered the fundamentals of conjuring. Yet, it is but the beginning of your journey. Henceforth, you must strive to attune yourself ever more closely to the elements and to nature. Gonna just grab that. I should be level 16. What? Ah, come on. Just need like a little bit more. Okay. Bent branch in central shroud. Yeah. I just immediately like ran past it. Which one is bent branch? Okay, so one of the things that can actually like look around for them for a bit. So now that we've actually gotten all three of our combat classes that we're going to be using for like a good portion of the entire game, I did kind of want to state this, since we're basically at this point now. I don't want to... I am going to be doing all of this stuff. But if I ever get to a point where I'm like, I kind of want to show off this class a little bit more, I will, like, gravitate towards doing that. But I think having the different classes that kind of represent the areas that they're from is kind of nice. And again, like, even though we pick up Lancer here, even though we kind of pick up Lancer here, it's not really... I personally would not say it is a Gridania class, even though it does deal with Gridania stuff. A lot more of the story about it actually comes from different areas. Is this the area that has it? Yeah, here are the fireflies. Oh my gosh. Why are you here? Why are both of you here? Stop following me. Yeah, I kind of wish that we could cast heal on enemies, but apparently that's something that was ruled out like a while ago. Just because it meant that healing yourself would actually be a little bit harder. Like, you would constantly have to target yourself in the party list to heal, instead of just be healing yourself after you target an enemy. You know? I could understand that train of logic. I don't actually know what fireflies hit you with, to be honest. And before you say fire, no. Because they make, like, a twinkling noise, and then it just hits you. And I don't think that they, like, smack against you, no. That is a physical impact. Huh. There we go. Equipped. There we go. Now we're full up on that. There we go. Yeah, one of the biggest problems with having two magical classes is that they're going to share everything with it. But on the bright side, we don't have to worry too much about that. We're just going to be encountering it for a very long time. Like, it's not until the beginning of Heavensward that we start running into a moving away from Disciple of War and Disciple of Magic, and instead they get down into fending armor, and then like healing armor, and then casting armor, and aiming armor, and then all that type of stuff. Striking armor. Look specifically at Rogue and go scouting. Because Rogue is apparently not... Okay, so Rogue is in a weird state. I think I've mentioned it before, but it has the stats of a melee DPS, but benefits from the stats of ranged DPS. Some of its moves are ranged. Most of its skill set is based around ranged. But because its auto attack is physical, it's not... It's so funny. Like, every single time I think about it, it hurts my brain a little bit. Okay. Am I going to want to do that? Dang it, I'm going to want to do that. No, actually, I don't need to. Perfect. Sorry, I was like thinking, I was thinking out loud about things. But yeah, we're effectively done for today. I'm going to just set this as a favorite location, so that I have reduced teleportation costs on it. And in the next episode, we're actually going to be doing all the crafting and gathering things in Gridania. It's kind of cool looking. And we're going to be doing that next time, because we are severely out of time today. Anyway, I'll see all y'all later. Goodbye.